Hi, mathematicians. This is part 2. Now we're going to find the fractional area. Instead of perimeter, we're going to focus on area of the squares that we've been working with already. So you might think of fractional area like this pan of brownies up here. You can see that that's one whole pan of brownies and it's cut up into equal sized pieces. And you're going to figure out what your portion might be of that whole pan. Okay, that might be helpful to keep in mind. So we're going to use the GeoBoard app that you can either find on the website by Math Learning. You can Google it and write GeoBoard by Math Learning Center, or it's an app that's on the school iPads, or you can download it from the App Store or the Play Store. So we're going to go to the GeoBoard and we're going to start making some pictures on this board. So just like last time, we talked about how this side length at the top, I'll use a red rubber band to show you what I'm talking about. This side length at the top is equal to one whole. That means that this side length on the side is also one whole. We're going to ask you to build a square on this grid that's 1/2 in length and 1/2 in width. So why don't you take a minute? You can pause this video. You can build it on your GeoBoard and then you can come back. So you may have made a square that looks like this. I can tell that this is 1/2 by 1/2 because there are two of these size pieces along this side of the larger unit square. So this right here, you could think of this as being 2/4. There are 2/4 up here and there are 2/4 down here. So I know that this portion is half of one side of the GeoBoard. So just the same up here on the top, I know that this is 1/2. So now I'm going to ask you to find the area. And you remember that the area is the number of square units inside of the figure we just built. So remember, we're thinking about this as like the whole pan of brownies or the whole unit square. So if you were to get this portion, what do you think the fraction would be of the whole pan of brownies or of the unit square? So you might look at that right away and think to yourself, oh, I think that's 1/4 because it looks like 4 of these pieces will fit in this unit square. And you'd be correct because if we divided this up, there would be 4 equal sections. This green part up here, that's 1/2 by 1/2, is one of the 4th size pieces inside the whole square. So I'm going to label this. So I know that this up here is 1/2. And this on the side is 1/2. And I know that if I know the length and the width of something, that I can find the area. So I'm going to do 1/2 times 1/2. And it just makes sense by the picture that that looks like it's 1/4. Can you think of another answer that would be acceptable as well as 1/4 if you're looking at this picture? If you said that there were 1, 2, 3, 4, it looks like there are 4 squares within that green square that we just built. What size are those squares? If there are 4 of these small looking squares inside, I don't know. We have to think about how many of those squares would make up the entire black square. How many are there? So there are 4 across the top and 4 down the side. So I think there are 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So you could also say that if this is my portion of brownies, I'm getting 4/16 of the whole pan. And you should know that these two things are equivalent. So you can use either one. If your teacher wants you to use a benchmark fraction or a simplified fraction, you want to go with 1/4. Okay. So now we're on to the next one. So now we're going to ask you to clear your board. We're going to try one more before we set you loose on your own. Now we want you to build a rectangle that has one side length of 1/2 and another dimension that's 1/4. If you need to pause this video, you can, and then come back. If you built a rectangle, it might look like this. That's 1/2 by 1/4. I can see that the half that we had in the last figure is still here on the side. And at the top, it got thinner because I need to be able to fit 4 of these across the top of the unit square in order for it to be 1/4. So now I can see that this is 1/4 of the top length and it's 1/2 of the side length. So I'm going to go ahead and label that. I'm going to say this is 1/2 of the side. And I know that this side down here is the same as that one up there. So I'm going to say that this is 1/4. And I want to find the area inside of this. Like, what portion of the brownie pan would I be getting if I got this purple section? So you might think to yourself, how many of these pieces would fit in the entire pan? I know that I have 1/2 of 1/4. You might have some knowledge about this already. If I have 1/4 of something and someone wants half of it, what portion will I get of the whole thing? So you might have noticed that this piece fits in here. It looks like 4 times up here and 4 times down here. So there is a total of 8 in the whole, and I am getting 1 of them. So I get 1/8 size piece because there are 8 copies of this in the whole unit square. You might notice some patterns as you look across these problems. Why don't you see if your theory is correct? You might also say that it looks like it might be 2 of those smaller squares that fill up the entire grid. Again, we figured out that there were 16 equal pieces within this unit whole, and that this looks like there are 2 of them. Guess what? 2/16 is the same or equivalent to 1/8. Now that we've tried some things on the geoboard, let's put them back so that you can take a look. This was our square that was 1/2 by 1/2 units large. We figured out that these were the dimensions of the sides and that the area was 1/4 or 4/16. This was our second rectangle that we built, and we found out that this purple one is 1/2 by 1/4. And when we figured out the area of the inside of the figure, that we had 1/8 size piece out of that whole unit, and that's also equivalent to 2/16. So we're going to have you try a set of your own, and see how it goes. Just remember that your teacher is available for feedback if you have any questions.